Oh, classic. Welcome back to the Northern Steel Podcast, episode 81. I'm your host, Dominic. With me, as always, is my brother, Chris. Talking about episode 81, Chris, name me a famous player. Number 81 off the top of your dome. Don't even Google it. I see your fingers typing. 81 right now.
Wasn't Jeremy Tooman 81?
No, I don't think so. I think Jeremy Tooman was...
Can I fact check it?
Yeah, you can. You can fact check it. While Chris is fact checking Jermaine Tooman, not Jeremy, Jermaine Tooman. Welcome back to the Northern Steel Podcast, where we talk about Steelers, we talk about NFL, we talk about football news, and unfortunately, the winning streak is over. That's why I said classic and laughed at the beginning. That was foreshadowing this moment right now you're listening to with your ears. The Steelers lost this week, or this past week, I should say, against the Colts. Very sad times. Defense didn't look good. Offense didn't look good for a whole half. Got better in the second half. But that is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. We're going to get into it about the positives and some negatives going into moving forward on the season. Chris, do you have the fact check for me before I move on?
He, in fact, did not wear the number 81. He wore 84. Antonio
80,
Brown.
All right. 81. Isn't that McCoy Pruitt?
It is Dom, and it's also Zach Gentry and Jesse James. And I feel like an idiot for not remembering.
Jesse James, the catch that never was. Well, if you missed the game against the Colts because you were too busy yelling, "This is our team, that we bleed blue, go Colts."
Nay.
We got the highlights just for you. Steelers Colts week 4. Colts have a lot of injuries, a lot of problems on both sides of the ball. Should be a cakewalk, right? And it is, but not for the Steelers, as this pass just sails over JPJ's fingers for a large gain, and continuing the Colts drive, they hand it off to Jonathan Taylor, and he breaks off a 10-yard plus run. The defense has only given up on average 8 points this year, so they can hold them. Bend but don't break, right? That's the Steelers' motto, but instead they do break. My heart mostly. As the Colts hand it off to JT, and he outpowers the defense for a touchdown. But that's just one. Let's see what the Steelers are going to do. Maybe on their next drive, they can possibly take the ball and, okay, never mind. I guess the Colts are back in the end zone. Skipping context by the highlights. No AR because injured, like always. Nightmare fueled Joe Flacco in the game, and he fires a touchdown on the Steelers in the year 2024. Already down 14-0. Now let's see the Steelers. Okay, never mind. Let's see more Colts points. Sure, 17-0, Colts on top. What the F is happening to this defense? Steelers need some points, and during a 90-yard drive, George Pickens does his best impersonation of my wife, yelling, "Get off of me," and then reluctantly giving it away, because that's love, people. Come home, the kids miss you. A devastating blow to the Steelers, and after my last joke, the only blow I'm going to feel moving forward is also devastation. Steelers somehow get the ball back. And of course, it's a sack by a player with a bunch of vowels and a bunch of consonants in a random assortment of ways. This is in line with the terrible highlights NFL.com does, so we'll skip right to Boz kicking a field goal before half. Don't know how they got there, but it is 3-17 nonetheless at the half. After a video game-like punt return from Calvin Austin, the Steelers still need some kind of points here, and dear God, what are you doing? Throw it away! Justin Fields, clearly tired of not scoring, tries to make a play himself, but it's not time for that yet, wink wink, and before being sacked, he fumbles the ball and it's picked up by the Colts. Add another missed opportunity to the list. And then look at this, man. This is why I tell y'all not to watch NFL.com. We blitz to the first half of the minute, but let's spend the next 30 seconds really analyzing why Fields ran backwards 20 yards with two dudes coming at him untouched. Pause. And then, seeing he did fumble. We get it. We don't need 3 angles of this. Fire intern NFL.com. I beg of you, please. It doesn't make sense. This entire segment was spent on this one goddamn play. On the next drive, Justin Fields says, "Time to get wicked serious," and rolls to the left, fires a laser to George Pickens for the huge gain. Pickens letting everyone know that it was a first down and that he feels pretty muscle manos about it. Shout out Spanish 1. Later, it's 3rd and goal, and Justin Fields looks around and remembers, "Oh yeah, I have legs," and just runs it in himself with a touchdown. And based on that replay, that was actually his plan all along. As you see, Yugi, when Justin Fields locates the middle linebacker, he knows his trump card is still in play. And with a slight movement of his head, Fields is able to turn on the Jets and attack their life points directly. And score a touchdown. Finally, finding some momentum, can the defense get a stop? Highest paid in the league? Absolutely not. Flacco with another touchdown. Steelers looking around with more confusion and my blood boiling at a temperature not yet measured in science. Steelers got to score quick, and when I think of quick, I think of Najee Harris. As he takes a screen pass and picks up big yardage, crushing some Colts defenders on the way, and he didn't do it softly, I'll tell you that. Later, it's 2nd and goal, and the Colts rookie Latu rushes the inside lane, and you can't do that with Justin Fields, as he evades to the left and runs in for his second touchdown of the game, getting smacked in the process. That's my quarterback, baby. Get up and flex on that little boy. Justin Fields practically, single-handedly fighting this team back from the death, trying to keep the win streak alive. I love the heart. I love the effort. Please, defense, we need you. And the defense said, fuck you, Dom. And the Colts kick a field goal to go by 10 with 6 minutes left. Can the Steelers somehow still find a way to win this game? Well, on their next ensuing drive, the Steelers are back in the red zone. The scoring won't stop. It goes back and forth. Fields hikes the ball and fires it into Muth, who squeezes between two and plops into the end zone. The great Ice Spice once said, "You not even the fart." And well, she technically was right about you, Muth, because you are not the fart. You are the shit. And all that's left is a stop. Please stop them. Then Cam Hayward and Nick Herbig answer our prayers and take Flacco down on 3rd down. By God, there is a chance for this team. Please, they can win it. Under 2 minutes, Steelers driving, need 20 more yards for a field goal, and no! Again with a mistimed snap for the center, hitting Fields in the face. They lose 12 yards on the play. This is like the 4th damn game in a row. A drive killer. Then to make matters worse on 4th down with the clock running, no timeout being used, because that would be too smart, Justin Fields throws an incomplete pass, and the comeback attempt is over. Steelers lose 24-7. Drop the 3-1. And that's how the highlights go, Chris. Lose the game. I hope you enjoyed those highlights.
The highlights. What did you just say? I heard so many different things, and I was just laughing the whole time. That was way more enjoyable than watching that dumpster fire of a game. And I didn't even get to watch any of that game, realistically. I was driving back from the cabin, and it wasn't until like the 4th quarter that I could even like see how disappointing everything was. But holy cats, man.
That's a great point, Chris. You didn't get to watch the game. So why don't you give me an in-depth look on how the game was to you?
So from my perspective, basically I saw the same amount of action that you saw watching the game. Nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Granted, there's a valiant effort in getting somewhat of a comeback. There are a lot of horrible calls pinned against us, a lot of miscommunication. Guys just not dialed in to this week. And wouldn't you know it, I think it was leading up to the game. And, I'm not calling you out, Dom. I'm not. But like you were feeling, do it. Dom was feeling really, really confident. Like he's like, there's no way we can lose. Yeah. Like not a chance. There's so many injuries on the Colts.
Yeah,
we're hitting so hot. Our defense is so heavy. Like, God, we're looking so good. And I go, Dom, same old song and dance, dude. I just can't. Yeah. I just have this feeling. It's a trap game. It's the Tomlin trap game. And you know what it was? It was the trap game.
No, it's not like that hasn't been happening for a decade plus. I've got no reason to believe that, right?
It's kind of like the same thing that we do when we're like doing our sleeper bets or something like that. When we're like, or
actually, it's the same thing we do.
No, I was talking.
Whoa.
Yeah. I know. And Dom's been really great. He worked with my schedule really well today. But what I meant, not the sleeper picks, when we do football picks, because it's like, oh yeah, the obvious person should be this team because they're clearly better. And then some stat comes out where they're like, oh, they haven't beaten this team since 1957. And then we're like, oh, okay, like I guess that matters. And it does.
And guess what? I have that again for you this week. And guess who didn't pick with the streak? Me again. Knowing
What was it?
I will tell you when we get to the game picks. But touching on the Steelers and Colts game, I do want to say you talked about bad calls for the Steelers. As someone who watched the game, Chris, there's actually bad calls all around. The officiating crew, horrific, all the way around.
Typical.
I mean, there was a couple plays that the Steelers got that were penalties on the Colts, where I was like, no, but I'll take it. Just awful, but that is not why the Steelers lost. Chris isn't saying that either, but that's not why the Steelers lost, ladies and gentlemen. The Steelers lost because they had 8,000 mistakes. Let's see if I can name most of them off the top of my head right now. The Steelers, Joey Porter Jr., the first play of the game, I don't think he had a chance for an interception, but the ball went right over his fingertips. That would have been a nice pass deflected. He dropped an interception in the end zone, which led to a field goal. The Steelers went for it on 4th and inches and didn't get from the shotgun and didn't get it, which led to a field goal. The George Pickens fumbled, which we could have got at least 3 points on a 90-yard drive. We got sacked out of field goal range. We had a penalty to get us out of field goal range. The fumble from Fields after the big punt return to bring us out of field goal range. We had some big defense couldn't get a stop after every single touchdown. Cam Hayward had Joe Flacco locked up in a sack and let him go away, and he completed a 3rd and 10. Najee Harris doesn't run out of bounds at the very end, and Mike Tomlin doesn't call a timeout for the most important play of the game on 4th and goal. There might have been others besides those, but just even those that I named resulted in the Colts getting points and us having so many missed opportunities to get at least 3 points, especially in a game where they lose by 3. Oh, and I guess the biggest mistake of all, obviously, the fumbled snap at the end of the game, which Justin Fields says was his fault, which I have to believe it was based on other people talking about the signals that were given. If you, again, we mentioned Alex Kozora on this podcast. We mentioned Nick Faribaugh. Matter of fact, we've mentioned footballing with Ben Roethlisberger. Get us on the podcast, Ben. You know you want to talk to us so I can call out the Steelers' dumbass plays because your own partner doesn't know what he's talking about. But listen, Spence,
we just lost our chance.
No, Spence,
we just lost our chance.
I didn't mean that, Spence. I didn't mean that, Spence. I love you. The thing is,
sorry,
that
Spence.
What they're saying is that Justin Fields was supposed to do a one-leg movement signal, like lift his leg up, put it down, and that's supposed to happen one time, and then hiking the ball. Mason McCormick was watching for that signal. That signal was given, and he tapped Zach Frazier to snap the ball. That's what happened. But when that signal was given, Justin Fields decided to look again at the safeties because they were moving down, and he wanted to get one last look. And that's where it went wrong. He can't do that. He already gave the signal. So he decided to look at the safety some more, maybe make another play, and the ball was snapped. He wasn't ready for it. That's on Fields for that one. You know, he had a great game.
I was going to say, and it's so tough because it just proves that, he's only human. I know we just saw the embodiment of our Lord and Savior out there, as he was literally carrying our entire team back into this game.
Sure.
But hey, he makes mistakes. It happens. Let's not go on this Russ chant now, trying to get him back in there. But look, the game happened. It was poorly planned, poorly coached, poorly executed. Guys were not dialed in. They did not pay attention to detail. I know Deshaun Elliott said that in later press conferences, saying the vibe was just off all week in preparation for this game. And we've seen that time and time again. And I thought it was different, Dom. I really did, especially after our third straight win, and guys are like, I'm hungry. We're still not good yet. We got to get better.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it just seemed like we are finally going to move past that hump. And then we just resorted back to our old ways of, being comfortable with where we're at, not wanting to take advantages of these opportunities. I miss the days when we would play the Cleveland Browns and we'd beat them 40-0. That's the games that we should be seeing when half of a roster's injured and we're coming off with the best defense in the league and an offense that's finally finding an identity.
I mean, I don't remember a game, Chris, that we've played where we've comfortably won. I think the last game it was probably in 2020 against the Jags, or the game I went to live in 2018 when they played the Panthers and they crushed them with 50 points. I don't remember the last time the Steelers have played a comfortable game. You kind of just expect every game to be just a drag through the mud down to the last second kind of game. I know I've been driving a lot of this conversation right now, so if you don't mind, I want to drive these next 2 points, and I'll give you a chance to respond to both of these. But I want to hit up with an optimistic, positive outlook from the game, and then, of course, the negatives that I think are from that game.
Okay.
First, positive. The positives.
I thought you said you were saying the positive. And
I know, but you couldn't give me a signal like I had something going on.
No, I'm just my own, twitches because
I thought you were giving me the LA down under signal. All right. Anyways, the first positives of of this game, I would say the positives to take away from this, if you want to be an optimistic fan, if you want to have hope, is that the Steelers going down so bad, we were trying to see offensive improvement. Justin Fields really took over in that second half. He was really able to find a way to drive down the field and score consistently and quickly. I mean, 3 straight touchdown drives back to back to back, all in I think the time of possession was like the longest time was like 3.5 minutes on one of them. I mean, he did them all so quickly and efficiently using his legs, passing around to multiple different receivers. It's good to see that he can do that he can score. And people always talked about how he actually doesn't have a lot of fourth quarter comebacks in his career. Now he still doesn't. He still lost that game, and that snap was his fault. However, they were on the precipice of tying that game. I had full faith they could. They're 20 yards away with 2 minutes left, and that fumbled snap really ruined it, but they had a chance to potentially tie that game, if not win it. And it's good to know that Fields has the capability to do so. That's encouraging for the future. That's encouraging for the offense. That's encouraging going on the line, right? That's the biggest takeaway, I think, the positive to have. Do you want to touch on that first?
No, I mean, I completely agree. I think you said it very beautifully. I don't really know what else to add to that, but yeah, continue on.
Here's the negatives, and it's demoralizing, and I get it. Okay, we're 3-1. You don't want to be panicking. You don't want to pretend that the season's over, and you don't want to throw the season away at 3-1. It's the first loss of the year. This loss, though, is a culmination of the way they've lost games for the past 8 years in this time that we have not won a playoff game. Like Chris said, Deshaun Elliott mentioned poor practicing, poor preparation, the defense staying in one look the entire time and never adjusting, never changing, resulting in them getting lit up by Flacco the entire game. That's a common theme. Tomlin consistently playing not to lose instead of playing to win, so then they couldn't force offensive plays until it was too late in the game when they should have been doing that from the jump. He always talks about don't live in your fears. We got to come out the gate fast, but he lives in his fears and they come out the gate slow every time. This kind of like playing has been going on forever with Tomlin. And we've talked about this. This is going to sound bad. This is going to sound like Dominic. You're expecting, the way you're talking is like the Steelers season's over. Wrap it up. And I'm not saying it is, but what's demoralizing is it feels like it could be because these are the same problems they always have. Tomlin puts too much stake in the defense. This is an offensive-driven league, and sometimes the defense is going to struggle like they did yesterday. You know, they're a good defense. And when that happens, you need to have the calls and the plan in place to score points, and they don't. Not only that, but he puts too much stake on the defense. In his press conference, he says, who's he mad at first? They say, hey, what's the team got to do to get better? And he's like, the defense has got to play better. Doesn't say the offense at all. Does just the defense. They got to get better. And he expects them to get better based on war of attrition, based on just their willpower and their heart, when coaching also matters. We've talked about that. Terrell Austin is not the best defensive coach. He just has all pros all around him. And I truly believe that. This defense could be great, and they are just good enough. And you might be saying, well, Dom, they just had a great 3 weeks. I know, but this kind of game that happens against the Colts always happens. If they find a way to slow down TJ and they pick one defensive play and the offense can move around it, they don't budge. Tomlin and the defense, they go like this. They'll just get better and they'll figure it out through the game. You have to change and adjust, and they don't. They never do. So as a fan who wants them to win a playoff game and win a championship and open up the offense and change in the year 2024, am I seeing change? Can't say that I am.
Well, and I just want to touch on that a little bit too, because I think the most disappointing thing about that aspect of it, of the no change, especially like as the game progressed, did we not see them do it literally the week before against the Chargers? We praised Tomlin on the podcast, saying how it was probably one of his better coached games because we went into halftime. You know, it was not a great first half by any means. We changed up our game plan, you know, offensively, defensively, everything was clicking after that point, and we totally dominated that second half of the game, resulting in us winning.
Yep.
Right?
That's true. That's true.
And so what blows my mind is like how we can literally see a great example, not even from earlier in the season, literally a week before to this game, and say, nah, we're just not executing these plays well enough. Our players aren't doing what they're supposed to. It's insanity is what it is, realistically. Yeah. And for Tomlin to comment and put it on the defense is also wild to me, because the defense did not play.
They had a bad game. They had a bad game.
They really, really did. Yeah. But at the same time, like, this is the same defense that is probably the reason we got 3 wins in the first place. You know, they were the number one defense leading us up to this point. And like, we aren't firing out the gate, you know, like we said earlier. It's like, you can't expect a defense to win everything. Obviously, I do firmly believe defense wins championships. You know, you've seen it time and time again. The defenses that just shut down those high-powered offenses. It's like, you really only need, you know, a touchdown or two to win some of those games. But when that's not working, well, okay, when offense isn't working either, is it still the defense's fault for us not scoring points? No, it's not.
Right.
So it's just, it's kind of like, why are we pointing fingers, you know, at certain parts of the ball or whatever, when it's like, hey, this is my bad. I did not coach this game well enough. I did not prepare my men well enough. Like I'm the one to blame when we literally like had a great example of how it should have been done last week by my team. Yeah.
Yep. And not to bring the mood down, but yeah, that's just the skinny of it. So to be an optimistic Steeler fan, we haven't seen a playoff win in 8 years. Hopefully we can. But let's move on from that. About 25 minutes in. Let's move on from that. Before we go touch into next week's game, I wanted to bring up something Chris is not going to like, but too bad. If you had fun being delusional over the Brandon Ayuk trade saga over the summer, let me introduce you to Davante Adams. There goes the eye rolls. There goes the eye rolls. Davante Adams.
I want to go to bed.
Davante Adams on the trade block. He's requested a trade from the Raiders. Look, I'm not going to touch on it. I'm not going to touch on it for too long, Chris. We can move on, okay? All I'm saying is that if you like having fun with trade talks, this is the next one to be delusional about. It is time to be delusional about it. But the realistic option is he's probably going to the Jets. That's what I keep hearing. He's probably going to the Jets. But would it be cool if the Davante Adams is on the Steelers, Chris?
Yes.
Would it be cool? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Would be cool. All right, put that phone away. Let me tell you what's going on. Next week, the Steelers are playing the Cowboys with Davante Adams. I'm just kidding. They're playing the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. And it's time for your favorite segment at home. It is called
Keys to the Game.
Just spit those keys to the game. Let them jingle, let them jang.
Dom, I'd really, really love to. So first off, Cowboys dealing with some injuries. And we all know this.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Lawrence has been placed on IR, so he will not be attending this game. He might be attending. I don't know. He won't be playing, but he won't. He might be attending it. Who knows? Which is a huge piece of their defense. And not only that, but I know there have been reports that Micah Parsons they're preparing like he is not going to be playing for the game. Nothing has been, set in stone. There's been no official reports, but you're looking at their top two guys on defense right there. What was that face about?
No, keep going. It's not about you.
Oh, okay. I was like,
keep going.
Top two guys in defense, that they're being taken out of this game. And the thing is, I know it's the same old song and dance. We literally talked about this with the Colts, but you have to take advantage of these mismatches. Offensive line has had its struggles. Broderick Jones went on a tweeting rant. He claimed to having Down syndrome. It was not a good look. And I didn't think, I thought someone literally created a Twitter account with his name. Turns out it was him. So it kind of blew it wasn't a good look. Anyway, it would be a better game, a better redemption game for them, since they're not going to be going up against those two stars of their defense. And let's face it, Justin Fields got ran around the backfield a little bit too often against the Colts. More than I'd like to admit for how little of pressured defensive players that they have. Well, realistically.
I think our play call wasn't good. Shout out to Arthur Smith, who hasn't really impressed me this year, but that's also a big reason for it.
Absolutely.
Play calling wasn't great.
So I think taking advantage of those mismatches and making sure that we're protecting our quarterback is going to be huge. And also another thing too, Dom already said his name, but schematics is going to be another big thing. Right now, Justin Fields is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL after 4 weeks, which is great. Our wide receiver separation is last. I'm almost positive we're last in the league in separation. And I don't know if that is just because of our players or because of the schemes that are just not being written up. Maybe a combination of both.
We don't have Adams yet.
Yeah, enough of that. So realistically, I think Arthur's really got to open up the playbook. We've done a ton more play actions, but the success rate behind those play actions have not really hit home at all. So we really just got to start opening up the field a little bit more, opening up that playbook and getting guys into position to where they can get some separation and Fields can just sling it downfield.
Opening up the field for Fields to sling it downfield.
Sling it downfield. A lot of fields going on there, but you get the point. Last thing is realistically, we might be looking at, if we want to win this game, an offensive shootout. I'm just going to say it. I know our defense was torn apart last week, but I do think we have a really solid defense. I think we have a special defense, and we've seen it if they prepare well enough. However, Cowboys are pretty good offensively. And that's the other thing. They have weapons. They obviously, CeeDee Lamb is this might be the hardest matchup for Joey Porter. Who's coming off of a bad game. So he's going to need some safety help back there. It might be high scoring, and I know a lot of you do not want to hear that, but that might just have to be the pill we have to swallow. So at the same time, we have to come out firing on all cylinders. And realistically, sure, do we have to score 20 points by halftime? Not necessarily, but like as long as we're nice. Like, it would be. But as long as we're sustaining drives, even if we're like getting field goals with every drive, or making our way down the field and putting us into a position to score, we have to capitalize on all those opportunities that we get, because it could be an offensive shootout. I don't know, Dom, what do you think?
No, yeah, I agree. I kind of like every week, I'm going to touch on a couple of just other notes to think about. One kind of interesting note: this is the first time Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott have been playing in Pittsburgh since their rookie year, when they lit us up, and that game was close and the Steelers barely lost. The infamous fake spike game from Ben to AB, which didn't matter at all because the defense could not stop a cold. But like Chris said, it's hard to gauge this week in terms of what everything that you heard from Chris. I agree with. I guess from like a vibe standpoint, I guess I lean more towards the Steelers potentially winning this game because it is at home. It's great for the Steelers to play at home, and it's prime time, which usually they do play well at prime time. Tomlin's record is usually good on prime time, and coming off a loss, you're hoping that kind of kicks them in the butt again to prepare. So going over the depth chart real briefly, you got Dak Prescott, who, in a time in the NFL where quarterbacks aren't really that good, he is unfortunately, I guess, top 5. I mean, there's not. If I made a list, I don't know. He might be at 5, probably. You got Rico Dowdle at running back and Ezekiel Elliott sharing the load there. Wide receivers, you have CeeDee Lamb, and Brandon Cooks is out for this game. So you have CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert, and then Turpin and Flourney. So CeeDee Lamb is basically the guy to look out for, although Dak Prescott does throw it around. Turpin's pretty fast. He catches a lot of balls, so look out for those guys. Tight end Jake Ferguson, very solid tight end. Linebackers are in. They need to come ready to play because the linebackers had a rough game last week. Patrick Queen apparently is not look good all year long, and Peyton Wilson had a rough one covering up receivers in the slot. You got Hunter Lupke at fullback. You got Tyler Guyton at left tackle. Sucks. You got Tyler Smith at left guard. Cooper Beebe at center. Zach Martin at right guard, stud, and then Terrence Steele at right tackle. Hopefully the pass rush can get in there and stop those guys. On the front 7, you got Chancey Golston. Don't know who you are, buddy. Sorry. We're replacing DeMarcus Lawrence. Mozzie Smith, Michigan stud, who we looked at, who we do like, but I don't know how well he's been doing. Backup Linval Joseph, just put that out there. And Osa, a bunch of consonants and vowels after that. So not sure about that front 3. You got Micah Parsons not playing the game, so in his place will be Marshawn Nealand. Can't say I know much about him, but obviously not as good as Micah Parsons. Linebacker core, very good linebacker core, full of linebackers Chris and I have loved over the years in our draft profiles. You got Damone Clark and DeMarvion Clark. And DeMarvion Overshown. Both those guys have been studs for them. Have been a great place for them. They also have Eric Kendricks, the longtime vet, and Buddy Johnson, old Steeler linebacker.
Damn, dude.
And no Jabril Cox. That's why that face I was making before. I was like, where's Jabril Cox? Because we liked him too. He's on the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Throw it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, God, I loved Damone Clark college tape. So
Yeah, and Overshown. I like this tape too. They got them both.
yeah.
Kalen Carson, left cornerback. He's replacing Deron Bland, who's still on IR. At safety is Donovan Wilson. At free safety is Malik Hooker at the age of 45. And at right cornerback is Trayvon Diggs, probably going up against George Pickens, backup Andrew Booth. Nickelback Jordan Lewis. So I would say from that standpoint, front seven, front line, not great with Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence out. Their running defense is really bad. We just played the Colts, whose running defense is bad, and that didn't matter at all. What do you want to say, Chris?
I was just going to say that's my other key to the game. I was so high on Andrew Booth, but the dude is playing abysmal football. And really has since he's gotten starting time in the league. The second wide receiver 2, this is your time to shine, man. Calvin Austin, 150 plus yards this game, calling it.
Roman Wilson gonna play? No, probably not.
Probably not.
So their run defense is really bad. The Colts run defense is really bad. That didn't matter. We still sucked running the ball against them. Hopefully they can find a way to run. Their linebackers are good, but that secondary I just named, Chris, they don't scare me. I don't think it's that very good. Trayvon Diggs is good, in quotations. Don't hate me, Cowboy fans. He's gotten some picks right now and then, but I don't know if he's that good. He's kind of 50-50, right? He can either get a pick six or he blows a coverage. Kind of 50-50 there. So there's a chance for them to score some points, but I do think it's going to be close, like every Steelers game always is. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles, man. The way it goes.
And that's the way it was.
All right, so these game picks. Let's get out here.
Sweet.
You always lose steam by the end. I need you to pick it up for these last 5 minutes.
No, look, I'm ready and rearing to go. All right. Did you not? Oh, okay. Fair.
Thursday, Buccaneers at Falcons.
I'm gonna say the No, real talk. Buccaneers, Falcons, duty cheeks.
I don't know about that. I think the Falcons play good at home. No.
I think the Falcons have just had a really rough schedule to start with, to be honest. I think they're a pretty solid team, but like,
I think they play good at home. I think we're going Bucks, but that could go either way.
Plus, there's no cooler name in the NFL than Bucky Irving, and that's the running back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you have him in fantasy?
Absolutely.
Good man.
Picked him up week 2.
Good man.
Jets at Vikings.
Jets are doo-doo water.
Okay, that one I agree with. Vikings are just on a roll right now. I can't pick against them. Matter of fact, Chris, I did the whole schedule for fun, because why not, right? Picked out every single game. I had Vikings at 15-2. Had them in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. I'm not going to pick the Chiefs to win. Pick the Vikings. So,
that'd be wonderful. Yeah.
You got Panthers at Bears. Yes.
Golly. I'm gonna say the Bears. Bears are my pick. However, I'm waiting for that. I just love the Caleb Williams downfall. So it's just, it would be cool if the Panthers won. However, it's gonna be the Bears.
Yeah, I'm picking Bears.
I'm picking Bears too.
Browns at Commanders. Maybe the return of Nick Chubb.
And maybe the return of another L to Cleveland. Are you kidding me? Washington's playing their minds out right now. They've punted one time in 3 games or some shit like that. Like, that's crazy.
Dude, I read that the Commanders have more scoring drives than Jaden Daniels has incompletions in the NFL right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. Here's the thing. I need the Commanders to win this game. Obviously, I hate the Browns. Worst team ever. Their fans are
doo-doo water.
Doo-doo water, yes. But we know for a fact if they pull a win out from the Commanders, who are also an unproven team, they've just been really hot lately.
Yep.
That they're going to take that little bit of we just beat a team who has
yes.
Yeah, and they're going to be like, we're back, baby. I can see Nick Carnes in his 4,000 tweets. and he's going to tweet about the Steelers because we're going to be down by 3 at halftime. Be like, "Well, look at this." No,
I talked major smack when he was talking smack after the Steelers lost, and then they lost to the Raiders. Oh yeah,
dude, you do it every week, and I live for it. But I need the Commanders to literally shit down their throat,
and they might, and they will. Actually, they will. I'm picking Commanders as well. Dolphins at Patriots.
Here's a doo-doo water watch. Dolphins, really bad.
I'm going to go Patriots.
Yeah, I'm also going Patriots.
I'm going to go Patriots. Tyler Huntley sucked. Tyreek Hill traded? I don't know. We'll see.
To the Steelers?
No. We'll see. Colts at Jags.
Oh, this is the one. This is the one that, like, Colts haven't won in like 16 matches or something like that?
Yes. And I saw that, and I still picked the Colts because I'm an idiot. And I'm still going to.
I picked the Jags, but
good on you.
It wasn't because of that. I was good, but I was just like, they're at home. Also, it's divisional. I don't know. I'm going to pick the Jags. They need to win. They need to win.
They have the streak, Chris. That's the smarter pick to do. I'm the dummy here. I'm going Colts. Let's go Bills at Texans.
Bills have to bounce back after that.
Think?
Horrid performance.
This is a bet. Go ahead. Go.
But, maybe they produced a little too much steam in the beginning, so they need to cool off a little bit. However, I'm still going Bills.
The Texans haven't really looked that great this year as far as a complete team. And with that, I'm going Texans.
Dude, are you out of your mind?
I am a little bit. I'm a little crazy. The NFL's a crazy time. You never know who's going to win.
I like it. I really like it.
Ravens at Bengals. Don't like this.
Ravens at Bengals.
Yeah, don't like that.
Let's go with, I don't know, there's got to be some stat line about this, but I said Ravens.
Yeah, it's Ravens are the way better team right now. They're playing out of their mind. Derrick Henry's running like it's 2016. Unfortunately, would love a Bengals win though, since they don't have a win. Or actually, they do. They got a win last week, but still, rather than a win. So, sure. Raiders at Broncos.
Doo-doo Water Stadium.
Yeah, sure is. Otherwise known as Mile High.
Oh, that's the name.
Yes.
I am going to go with the home team.
Me too. Broncos defense has been showing out, and the more the Raiders lose, the better chance the Steelers get to get Devontae Adams.
You had you literally just said like the actual reason. I literally just picked because they're the home team. Otherwise, they're both garbage.
Well, the Broncos defense has been playing pretty good.
Whatever, dude.
Cardinals at 49ers.
Well, the Cardinals tried to make a believer out of you last week, so I hope you learned your lesson.
I did.
I did. So I'm going to go 49ers for this one.
Like I just got verbally spanked. Yeah. I'm going to 49ers. Giants at Seahawks. No Malik. Not that it matters. No Malik Neighbors. But yeah, Seahawks. Packers at Rams.
I think the Packers need a win. So I'm going to say the Packers.
Want to hear a cool stat? The Packers are 2-2. Jordan Love, 0-2. Malik Willis, 2-0.
Who do you go with?
Quarterback controversy? I'm gonna go Packers. Next is our game. Picking us.
Doesn't the dude have like 8 touchdowns though? In like the 2 games Jordan he's Love. Played?
Yeah. Yep. But anyways, Cowboys Steelers. I'm picking Steelers. And then Monday night game, Saints at Chiefs. I know, who cares fest.
Chiefs.
refs. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, it's the
Chiefs.
same diff.
Yeah, exactly. That's the game picks for this week. Thank you for listening to the Northern Steel Podcast. We'll be back next week to discuss hopefully a win in review and previewing the next week's game. Have a great night. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Omegle, Chat Roulette, Meat Spin, Addicting Games, and LeagueOfLegends.org. Final words for the people.
Meat spin?
Dude, we have a domain there. That's
I hope not. Go Steelers.
Go Steelers. Go to Meat Spin to find our merch. Good night. See you later. Peace.
Peace.